Hey guys, how's it going? Today we're breaking straight into the review with Aimpad 1.5, a glass mouse pad that is made by A5 Gaming. It comes in 4 different colors: black, white, red, and this light purple. It's around a $100 price point and it's marketed as a controlled glass mouse pad with a 2.5 thickness, including the base. So the top part is about 1.5 with the base being 1. The first thing I want to break into is the unboxing experience. It ended up coming with a pair of skates. It has 2 different sizes, as you can see here. It's the bigger skates and the smaller skates with 2 different diameters. It also comes with a thank you note and some packaging, which obviously I don't have here because there's not enough room. But nothing came damaged and it came safe and sound. And I was very happy with how they packaged it. Now let's get into the pad itself. I'm sure is what you guys came to watch. When it comes to the surface, it's more on the texture side of glass mouse pads, and it's nowhere near buttery smooth. It has a controlled glide to it and feels quite nice to skin. It's playable with and without a sleeve in my testing, and I've had no issue with either. The edges feel good. They are a little bit on the sharper side, but nothing drastic, and it still feels good to play with. Now, I'm sure with the design, you can tell it doesn't have like a crazy anime girl on it or anything like that. It's just a simple light purple, and it's very simple. Like, it has their logo with more like info. It says 1.5 glass, surface control, which is some cool info to have, especially if you have a lot of mouse pads. It's just nice to know immediately right off the back what type of texture it is or what type of speed. Obviously you get the colorway you're choosing. If you know me, of course I had to choose purple, but I really like it. It's just a really simple, clean purple. The color came out well. There's nothing bad about it. I really do enjoy it. I've honestly had a really pleasant experience when it comes to the gaming with the AIM 1.5. You know, I've been mostly playing CS2 nowadays, which obviously is less of a tracking game. But when it comes to control, I feel my micro adjustments and flicks hit really well on this pad. It allows me to make micro corrections well due to the textured surface, and it just makes me feel a little bit better. Obviously, it being on the slower side also does help with micro corrections, and it's probably one of my favorite controlled glass pads at the moment for tech FPS. Obviously, when it comes to tracking, completely different story. When I jump into the finals, the tracking's felt great. I am able to keep up with my targets, and I feel like those quick stops are still possible on this pad due to the texture. I can break into it fast. Although I did have to increase my sensitivity a little bit to adjust the control, as it is on the slower side, and I feel like with finals I have to run a higher sensitivity. So that's my input for gaming, and now let's break into skates. Now, when breaking into skates, A5 did include 2 different types of skates in the package, as I showed you before. Some smaller dots and some bigger dots. For the bigger dots, I have them on right here, and then the smaller dots as well. The smaller ones are more suitable for precise aiming and tracking games, as they're easier to stop on. So for something like Apex or the finals, it would be perfect because you are able to make those quick stops and stuff like that. For the bigger skates, they suggest that it's better for attack FPS, like quick flicks, long swipes. It allows for a better initial movement. That makes it kind of feel a little bit lighter than something like the small dots. I will say these skates are pretty loud when it comes to audio. I think this is their first attempt making skates, so I mean, props to them for the start of it. I do think it does need some work. I think it could be a bit quieter. I do think that it should be a little bit faster as well, but I think there's something nice to include and try. I think they did a great job breaking into creating skates, and it's definitely worth a try if you pick up the mouse pad. Now, for the first glass pad I want to break into is obviously the most common, which is the Wallhack SP04. When it comes to the two, obviously the Wallhack's a lot smoother, and when it comes to speed, Wallhack obviously takes the cake when it comes to speed as well. I think these are 2 completely different types of pads. I think you have a balanced speed leaning smooth pad versus a textured controlled pad. They're completely different experiences. The AIM 1.5 is a lot thinner, whereas SP04 is thicker but also older. The bases wise, I do think the SP04 does a little bit better of a job, but I know this is kind of the most basic comparison, but I know a lot of people are just kind of using only the SP04, and I want them to have an idea of the difference between the 2 if you want to switch to it. Breaking into the next comparison, I wanted to pull out the Acidity. Honestly, these 2 are very similar. Like, when I first pulled these 2 out, it actually shocked me. Obviously, the size is completely different. They're about the same thickness. They actually have very similar edges. I would say almost identical. They use the same base too. And when it comes to texture, they feel almost identical. I'm very surprised with how similar these 2 are. When it comes to speed, I would say they're kind of really close, but I think the Aimpad is a little bit more controlled. We can also see in the drop test if there is a bit like a noticeable difference. I think this glide feels a bit smoother than it comes to the Tenta. I can feel the texture a little bit more, but I feel the control. So with this one, it's a little bit more textured. when you feel it, like with your skates, you feel the texture a bit more. But this one's a bit smoother, but it feels a bit slower in the same aspect. It feels like the wind's pushing against your hand a little bit more. So when it comes to these two, I think I do like the Aimpad more. I may be a little biased to purple, but I do think that it comes out on top just due to the smoothness and how it feels on skates. Breaking into last but not least, the Infinity Mice Tora with the Aimpad. When it comes to the Tora, it's known as being one of the most controlled glass pads. It's more smooth, of course. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more textured. I feel this is complete control. If you want a complete like glass control, you have the Hana or this. When it comes to this is more controlled, leaning, balanced with a bit more texture. Obviously, this is going to be taller. It has that plush foam base. Size dimensions are completely different, obviously. But like when it comes to speed, like this is a mud pad, and this is more control, leaning, balanced than anything else. So they aren't really comparable, but I did want to bring out a control pad as it is market. This is marketed as a control pad. Overall, I have really enjoyed this pad, and it's probably one of my most frequently used pads in the past few weeks, besides Hana and Zane. I would definitely recommend this to someone who wants a more controlled but texture glide. I think it does perfectly for what it's advertised, and I wouldn't change anything about it. Besides maybe the more curved edges, and I would maybe curved edges a bit more and maybe have a bit more of a textured base, as this base is really smooth. It has no texture to it. More designs would also be lovely to see. Obviously, nothing wrong with a blank pad, but I love my designs. I will continue to keep this mouse pad probably in my rotation, at least for what its category is, which is, you know, controlled textured. There's really not much like it, and if it's perfect for my goal, trying to find that. So I will be keeping this in my rotation, probably my top 5 at the moment, and I appreciate you guys listening.